Good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 30th. I think I'm going to start a work life lead up to festival vlog. Festival is open to the public September 16th and 17th. We start loading in September 14th and 15th, and then the 18th we have to be out. So we have teardown on Sunday afternoon and Monday. And then a year's worth of programming is done, and we have reporting and we get to plan for next year. So today we're going to our storage unit because we don't have a physical office. We have a storage unit. We're going to our storage unit and we're going to pack stage kit boxes so that each stage has a box with band-aids, Lysol, PPE, everything that should be in that box. So if you're at the craft workshop stage, you have basic craft supplies. The merch booths, we're gonna have merch boxes. We're also storing a ridiculous amount of questionable books for a book swap. Book swap is a big favorite at the festival. So to swap books, you have to have a small stock of books. So we've been keeping books every year at the end of book stock swap so that folks that come in to drop off books to swap have books to browse and swap with. Problem is we have 60 boxes. Last week we were there going through the boxes and we were sorting them by age group and assessing whether any of these were gently used. Some of them you open up and all the pages fall out and you're like, sweet, no one's gonna want to swap for this. Or it's literally just the cover of the book, all the pages are gone because they've gotten disassembled at some point and just repacked that way. So we were sorting books. We got through half the books. We have 28 boxes of books left, which is too many books. Also, one of the boxes I opened up had a mouse nest inside it because when we were at our old location, we were storing things at that old location and they were much more rural and the animals enjoyed our storage unit. The last festival that happened at our old location in person was in 2019. Some of these boxes haven't been open since 2019. We've just been hucking them around and storing them. So hopefully we can get through some of those boxes as well, and anything that has a mouse nest in it, throw them away. I'm sorry, no one's gonna want to swap for books that have mouse and rat pee all over them. I wouldn't want to, and even if you wiped it off, I would prefer that my child wasn't reading books that had mouse and rat pee on it in the near past. So we're approaching the time of year where everybody gets a little bit demented. You're making so many decisions. We're such a small organization. There are 3 staff members, 3 part-time contract employees, and then a handful of other people we contract out to. But there are 3 staff, full-time staff, and I am one of them. I truly thought it was going to be a retail Christmas, and it kind of is. It's the same level of exhausted. The only thing is retail, because they don't want to give you benefits, they keep you part-time, whereas this is more than full-time. This is more than 40 hours a week right now. Hello, good evening. So today has been a day. I realized I wanted to film a life in the day in the life of a festival program coordinator as we lead up to the festival so that I could show you why I have been absent. And I realized that at this point my job is all emailing and phone calling people and I can't show you that. So the thing that I did do today that I can tell you about that is interesting and doesn't reveal any personal information is walk into the industrial wasteland in my city where city name Video and Audio lives. And so basically I bust out on the bus with the poorest reputation in the whole city. You can't be blue on the number 2. It's always an interesting time. It runs on I would say it's still like it's the city that it's the street that has the worst reputation, and it's the street that still has the worst reputation. And it's the bus that runs up that line. So I basically took that bus to the end of the line, and then I had to get off and walk like 10, 15 minutes into the industrial wasteland. I had a very lovely meeting with one of the gentlemen from City Name Video and Sound. And I know about as much as I knew before about sound systems. Like, to put it crudely, the male end of the cable goes into the female hole on either thing that you're looking at. And, like, if it's a funny shape or has some prongs, you want to match up the number of prongs on the male end to the number of holes on the female end. Give me the cables and the devices, and I can do it. Ask me to tell you how to do it, and it's gonna be like, oh, put the thing in the butthole. Professional children's festival. Again, I had to take the number 2 home, and went for a little walk. Had some leftovers for dinner. Cleaned up my desk. Checked my inbox to make sure that nothing was blowing up. At this point, like, working hours kind of don't exist. Like the 9 to 5, it's whenever. Like, I have authors calling me. They have my cell phone number now, authors and presenters, and we're not all in the same time zone. So that's fun. Or on the same time schedule. Like, a lot of authors work 2 jobs. So, like, their day job is happening and then they're free after that. So, like, my working hours are non-existent. Everything is flux and fluid. I am very much looking forward to vacation after this. You ever have that happen where, like, your glasses make like a little sore, and now I've got one of those like hydrocolloidal band-aids on because it's like clearish, it blends in kind of. My brain is mush is what I'm trying to tell you. It's like 32 degrees plus humidity. It's like a heat warning. They say it feels like 40 degrees outside, and it's wet. It's not a dry heat, it's a moist heat, which I feel like is the worst. Because you go outside and the air feels thick, and it's like smoggy and foggy, so my little asthmatic lungs are unhappy. What have I been doing? When I am not working, I am trying to do relaxing things. I have a new therapist, and I was like, this is crunch time. I literally can't fit you in until after the festival. And she's like, great, here are like 2 things for you to do. And one of them is to go for mindful walks where I'm not plugged into anything, not multitasking. And the other is to find an app that does like mindfulness exercises and do at least one of those daily. And I have not done any of it. Instead, I am choosing to be like vaguely productive and read. So whenever I have downtime, I am trying to read so that when the festival is over, I can make content for y'all, and I'm very excited to make content. I requested a bunch of arcs earlier in the year. Every time an arc that came out that I was interested in, I was like, yeah, I'll totally have time for this now that my job is reading and festival programming. And then my job became emailing. It's really a fun job, and I love it, I promise. Last night I finished Wolf Song by TJ Klune, which, spoilers, ends with quite graphic butt fucking. So in the middle of the book there's a sex scene, and it's like a long anticipated sex scene. Basically, Wolf Song is like Twilight if instead of vampires you have werewolves. Instead of Bella and Edward being like weirdly Mormon and having to be married, you have non-religious boys who are very like horny in like an animalistic way because they can like sort of creates a feedback loop when one of them is feeling horny for the other one, and then they can sense it and smell it. There's a really, it's a weirdly paced book. Parts of the writing are annoying. Like, at first you get these like little italicized moments where you'll have somebody thinking like pack, 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 or son, brother, love, or little like phrases, little groupings of words of like trying to get across how this like connected brain thing the werewolves have. And that got annoying by the end. And also, it's weirdly paced, and there's a sex scene in the middle before Ox and Joe mate. They just like have sex and become like a sexual couple together for the first time as adults. And it feels like if a nurse were maybe trying to explain to young people with penises how sex with two people with penises might work, in that if you read romance, the descriptions of sex scenes get kind of like flowery and exaggerated and pretty. And this is like describing testicles, which I feel like we all know are kind of wrinkly and weird looking. And like when you describe testicles or a butthole accurately, it starts to feel gross. Like, I think it was supposed to be hot. Now, granted, I am not a gay man. I'm not a person with a penis. So maybe it does it for a person with a penis. Maybe they can envision this in a way that feels sexy. But, like, reading it, I was like, oh my god, why? Yeah, I am still thinking about the sex scene a couple days later in like a bad way, because I'm thinking about how many fingers get shoved into a I think it was meant to be titillating, and it was gross. And not gross in like trying to be gross. Like I feel like earlier in the year, no, it was last year actually, I read Wetlands by Charlotte Roche, which was a piece of German fiction translated by a man who writes for Playboy. The protagonist in that book believes that like the taboos around bodily fluids are nonsense, and so tries to break them by consuming all of her own body fluids. Anything, any excretion from her body, she eats. And at one point, her hemorrhoids are like so prolapsed and infected that she has to go in for surgery and have like the hemorrhoids cut out of her butthole. And there's just a description of like her gaping infected butthole. And like that is gross for the sake of being gross, and like subversive in its grossness, and like depicting the female body as like real and human and excreting fluids and yucky, as like an attempt at a feminist message. This is gross in like an accidental way. So I finished that last night. It ends with a butt fucking. Weirdest denouement to a book. In a romance, the penetrative sex is the climax. In this, it was like the epilogue. And they mated. Now you know. I think you always knew that they were going to mate, because from the beginning, when Joe gave Ox his wolf, that was like giving him his heart. Joe had like imprinted on Ox, again going back to the Twilight thing, the nice man at City Name Visual and Sound gave me a water because it was so fucking hot. I didn't buy this. I realize I've been drinking out of this, and I feel like you will judge me for accepting a plastic water bottle that I didn't buy it. I was given it because it was hot, and I drank all of my water, and apparently their tap water is yucky. I don't know, I would have filled up my water bottle, but anyways, my brain is a sieve. I finished that arc, and now it's time to choose another one. There is the responsible choice, which is the arc that is already out, In Charm's Way by Lana Harper. The responsible thing would be to read it first, because I've missed the pub date, and I should review it before NetGalley takes it down. But the book that I really want to read is one that comes out much later, and that's Iris Kelly. Iris Kelly Doesn't Care? Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. It's like the third in like the Delilah Green sapphic romance series. Basically, I just want something light and fluffy, and something that is guaranteed to have zero wrinkly testicles. and I didn't think I would have to say that about a romance book with spicy sex scenes. I would like all of my romance novels to never describe a testicle ever again. Thank you and good night. All right, hello, good morning. It is Friday, September 15th, and it is almost 9 o'clock. I'm just killing some time in my car before I go in. We are loading into the festival. We are at the RBG, the Royal Botanical Gardens, and we are setting up the festival, like all the tents, making sure the AV equipment works, all that jazz, so that tomorrow morning, the thing that we have been working towards all year, this festival, happens, and it goes as smoothly as it can. I'm so tired. I am exhausted. I thought this would be like retail Christmas, and I think it is like retail Christmas. The only difference is I am now used to being a well-rested human. So when I worked retail, it was exhausting at first, but then you fall into this like new normal where you're just exhausted all the time. So that by the time Christmas comes around and they're like, instead of coming in at 5 a.m., can you come in at 4 a.m.? Instead of coming in at 4 a.m., because we're opening the stores at 8 a.m. for the customers early, can you come in at 3 a.m., which means you're getting up at 2 a.m.? By the time you hit that point, you're like, what's one less hour of sleep? I'm already exhausted and feel like shit all the time. But now I'm used to being a well-rested human who gets like 8 hours of sleep and works a normal schedule. And so it is like retail Christmas, but my body's not used to it. My body is used to being well-rested, and what a luxury that is. We're setting up the festival. I'm here 9 to 3 on the production schedule. I might be asked to stay later if we're needed. Somebody is supposed to be bringing coffee, which I'm very much looking forward to. All of my joints hurt. I feel like after this festival, I need to go to the doctor and like have like a full physical and have like a test done. I feel like in the last month I haven't really been taking care of myself, and all of my joints hurt. Let's head to work. So we have the book swap and shop. Oh, they got the tent sides up. Lovely. Gig guys on their gators. All right, so it's like 3 o'clock now, and we are mostly set up. Got the tents up anyway. Exhibitors are gonna set up here. We got the missing piece of the story walk, and we're driving this fun gator. We're gonna be dropping off table linens and signage. Yep. I'm debating putting an audiobook on and doing the dishes, or just eating hummus and being a potato. I don't know which I want to do yet. Maybe first eat hummus, eat food, and then see how I feel. So we did everything. We got the tech set up. I got merch set up. You know what I do not have patience for right now is pouring this into a container. So I'm gonna be a lazy piece of shit. Park her in the fridge like this, because this is technically a container. It's not technically a container. It is a container. I feel like we've now hit the demented point of like just go, 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 go for so long, you know? So I'm gonna eat this delicious, this is cauliflower poblano hummus, and it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. You like roast the poblanos, you peel the skins off, you blend them up with garlic roasted cauliflower and like comfy garlic oil and chickpeas and tahini. This is some excellent professional vlogging right here. But yeah, I am so tired. I could literally, I feel like I could lay down in any position and fall asleep at this point. So I am going to eat this, see if it reinvigorates me, drink some water. I don't think I've had any water to drink today. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna do that. Good morning. So we are at the RBG. We're actually at the Creative Workshop stage. And I just dropped off a bunch of paint markers that I tested. And now I have to find folks, get my walkie-talkie, and figure out Wi-Fi because I'm supposed to be calling the Uber to send our greeter to the hotel and pick up our headliners. Let's take a moment to appreciate these roses.
I've been to Telling Tales before, but I haven't been in person, so this is really nice for me to be here. What a beautiful area. And I got here about 9:30, and for the most part, what I've been doing is watching Little Bo Peep go around. The poor girl's looking for her sheep, and she's like method acting. She's like, she won't get out of character. It's like the coolest thing I've seen. And so I've been watching her like the whole time. And, like, when is she gonna is she gonna find her sheep? I don't know. But
so we're delighted to be here today and have a chance to talk to you. I think I've talked to some of you already this morning. Thank you for coming back. I'll try and be entertaining and interesting. But this one is much better because I have this gentleman here, Chris, who did the fabulous artwork for the graphic novel. So he will have all sorts of interesting things to tell you.
Yeah, if you say so. So, Ken.
Yes.
Why bats?
Why bats? Well, you know, actually, when I wrote the book over 25 years ago, and I showed it to people, that was pretty much what they said too. So why do you want to write about bats? Bats are like, you know, gross, creepy, ugly little animals. No one is going to want to read a book about bats. And I said, well, I beg to differ. I find them fascinating. And I had a friend who was really into bats, and he told me some interesting bat facts. He built little bat boxes for them and nailed them up on trees at his farm to try and entice them to take up residence there. And I got interested, so I just went to the library, got a couple books.
Festival day 2, we're in the Rose Garden. That's Nature Dales behind me. I'm just checking in with all of the stages. So here we go.
Far away from the giant rabbits and the crow witches. Every day I cross the street with the ogre, crossing guard, and I often give him one of my lunch cookies in case he gets too hungry. And every day I learn new words in school.
Those are excellent. And you, oh wow, so pretty.
Yep, Seji.
Yeah, oh, I see you've got boots. Those are awesome rainbow boots. And I like your cape.
Okay, so it is 2 o'clock and I haven't sat down yet, but I have had terrible French fries. And I have hugged Marie-Louise Gay as I sent her on her way. And now I am just doing a little loop before, oh my gosh, I'm so scattered, before things start to wrap up. So we're at like 2 o'clock now. I can't believe like 9 months of planning is over in the blink of an eye.
That's been one of the most meaningful parts of writing this book. I was at River Bookshop talking to a junior book club a few weeks ago, and I heard the girl saying like, yeah, you know, her dad's just trying his best, and like it must be so hard, and I wouldn't want to do that, and I felt like, oh, I did that. So I feel like opening up those conversations and like telling that part of why, I mean, everything that gets left when we go has been so important to me.
So we did it. It is almost 6 o'clock. Park is empty. The festival is torn down. I filled out an incident report for an author who got sick and had to be sent home. And despite an author doing 2 rain dances, 2, it has not rained. Knock on wood. So, wow. I mean, I'm so tired. I think I've won the step off. Possibly 21.2 thousand steps yesterday and 17.8, and we're not quite done yet. Oh my gosh. But I'm so excited. I'm so happy. This was just such a good day, a good experience. We had perfect weather. Everyone was phenomenal. We did some amazing troubleshooting. It was so good, and I'm so proud. This is our 15th anniversary, and it's such a joy to be a part of it. All right, bye. All right, hello, good morning. It is the day after the festival, and it feels a little weird to have nothing to do. I have like a whole list of things that I want to do. I'm charging my camera batteries to film some like sit down edited videos. Cleaned up the house a little bit because like it's just been a dumping ground as I come in at like weird hours from the festival and like prepping for the festival. I've been listening to Pet Sematary by Stephen King on audio. I have a live stream for it next week with our patrons, the Red Rum Book Club. And like the hecticness of the festival, I made this like big wish list of things that I wanted to do when I was done with the festival. And I'm having a rough time like starting on that list of projects. So it is Tuesday, September 19th. I went to the dentist this morning. I picked up my mom. We went to the garden center. We walked around. She's not supposed to do too much because like she's healing from her surgery. But yeah, we walked around the garden center. We looked at pretty things. I got a bag of potting soil. And then we just hung out for a little bit. We had lunch. I came home. I started Pet Sematary again from the beginning. It's like a physical book. I don't know. I'm in like a weird place where like I am exhausted, like physically and mentally exhausted, but have this like, I feel guilty sitting and doing nothing because there's so many things that I want to do. So I feel guilty sitting and doing nothing. We went to see Bottoms. I wanted to see it because it got recommended to me. It's like a queer teen sex coming of age comedy. And Miles was like, that sounds bad. Emily, you like teen trash. That sounds bad. And then a couple of our friends saw it at TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival. And they were like, oh my god, we saw Bottoms and it was so funny. And so then he wanted to go see it. And we both had a delightful time. There was a human in the theater next to us with like the best big belly laugh. And like the audience reactions to it were phenomenal. It was so funny. I really loved it. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. It is Friday, September 22nd. I made soup for lunch with my time off. Oh, that's a lot of water on the floor. And I'm making caramel apples to take to D&D later. I've got the apples resting over there with their sticks in them. This is an experiment because I thought we had a candy thermometer and I realized we don't. So it's just going to be me supervising this until it looks like the appropriate texture from when we've made caramel apples before with other people, other groups. So, should be interesting. So today is the last like day of my vacation, like my weekdays off, even though it hasn't been like the most traditional vacation because we still have to respond to things urgently. It's the last like weekday where we can take things easy. Next week gets busy again with reporting. So today I'm just doing some of the things on my bucket list. Yesterday, Bailey and I went to a garden center in the middle of the day, and I got some bulbs. So just doing like the little things that I always talk about doing. Got all the stuff for canning as well, and I've been gathering all of my tomatoes for canning. So there's citric acid in the mail because all of the grocery stores are, and like Canadian Tire, stuff like that, they are selling jars and lids for canning, and they're selling pectin for jam, but they're not selling citric acid. I have been unable to find citric acid, even though they're building these like little displays of like, here's everything you need to can, except citric acid. So I have citric acid ordered, and hopefully the tomatoes hold out long enough that by the time the package gets here this weekend, the tomatoes are still good for canning. So that, I think, is gonna be my Saturday, is after roller derby, I'm gonna can some tomatoes. Should be interesting. Hi. So it is now October 10th. We're almost a month out from the festival at this point. I did not, in like true Chaos Goblin fashion, filming this vlog while absolutely exhausted, I did not film an ending to this vlog. Like, it was just like, I'm gonna keep filming until things feel normal, until things go back like to normal, and I'm a functional human again, and I start to find a routine again. And so I just kept filming until I stopped feeling the need to film. And what did I learn? I feel like that might be a good thing to take away from this. This experience has been interesting. It's been chaotic. I survived a transition in leadership, transition in roles. Like, I started out as like part-time admin at the beginning of all of this, and then mid-May was given the title of festival programming coordinator. It's been a journey. It hasn't been the smoothest journey, but like overall, the experience was really valuable. I saw some amazing presentations. I helped workshop some presentations that turned out really cool, and like with the audience feedback, with the like stage managers giving their reports, like I got to see stuff that like existed in theory, on paper, in emails, in texts, in phone calls, like come to life and be really engaging and enriching. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. Definitely next year I will pack snacks. I ended up cutting the clip out, but like the food was bad. The food lines were bad, and that's not on us. The venue that we're at has restrictions on outside food. I should just pack a lunch. Technically, the RBG doesn't let you bring in food. I will take my break, walk off the premises to eat a decent lunch instead if I have to, right? Like, oh man, eating and drinking water. I should make that happen next year. Oh man. Basically just prioritizing caring for myself. Everything sort of goes in July. I lost all of my free time in July, and any free time that I did have, I didn't want to spend working a freelance job. Like, I treat YouTube generally like a freelance job. It's like, oh, go see some friends and like relax and have a meal together and like a little campfire, or say no to like a relaxing social break and continue working after you've worked like a 10-hour day to film and produce a video, right? Like, things had to go, and knowing that now, I can plan for next year. I think this is probably the most rewarding job I've had in a while. I feel morally good about what we're doing. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to everyone for coming back. It's been a while. If you liked this, consider leaving a like or a comment. Help me like dig myself out of the hole of the algorithm. I am curious to see how YouTube will punish me, so help me. If you feel at all inclined. Thank you to my patrons who make videos like this possible. I really appreciate the work that they enable me to do. It's been fun continuing to have our little Red Rum Book Club patron exclusive lives. It's not like I dropped everything. I did still get to hang out with patrons during the patrons lives, and we talked about the body, Pet Cemetery, possibly. Was the Eyes of the Dragon in there too? I think the Eyes of the Dragon were in my little hiatus as well. Like, we've read a couple of really great Stephen King novels together, so thank you patrons for sticking around for that. I hope that everybody is doing well, that they are staying safe and I will see you soon, for reals this time, with another video. Bye!